If you have said to yourself, I should write that, or if someone has said to you, you should write that, then I'm talking to you because you need to write. And that's why you're tuned in to yWrite. Hi, welcome to yWrite. I'm your host, Angela Grout, and I thank you for tuning in to another episode of yWrite, where we learn why writers are writing and we find out what they're writing and how they wrote it, because you might be wanting to write your story too, and some of the advice that they have may just help you. And maybe the book that they've written is exactly the book that you need to be reading. So today I have two guests in studio, and one of them is making his third appearance on my show. He has been on episode 6 and on episode 84, and he has written a book called A Promise to Astrid, and we have talked about the process of him writing that book and how his second book, the Healing Voices Project, ended up becoming a podcast. His name is Michael Tourville, and he is the host of the Healing Voices podcast right here on this channel, and he has now co-written a book with a woman named Angela. But it's not me. I have another Angela in studio. So today we have two Angelas. And let me tell you about this Angela. She is the branch manager of the AnnieMac Mortgage. And she has worked in the mortgage business for over 16 years. She has received 2 awards for her work, including the 2025 Scottman Guide Top Originator and the 2025 Mass Housing Top Originator. And we're talking about mortgages, so I'm wondering if you're getting the hint that this book might be about mortgages, because she knows a lot about them, and she knows about maintaining a home, and she's raising 4 children. So she's balancing life very gracefully, and as a mom and former business owner myself, I give her kudos. So I know how hard that is. So together they have written a book, and their book is called Get Moving. It's a personal guide to get you in top home buying shape. And I want to welcome to the show Michael Tourville and Angela Tourville. And we're going to find out how they have the similar last name. So let's welcome them to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Angela. Angel A. Yeah. I love meeting other Angel A's. And it's nice to see you again for the third time on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
And I was mentioning how you wrote these 2 books here. And, both of them have inspired me, and you inspired me to even start a podcast.
Yeah.
So,
and you've been writing for a while, too. So we've been sort of in this journey together.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. You've been a mentor and a guide to me for, the things that you're doing. And now you not only have 2 books you've written, but you co-wrote a book with Angela. And can we talk about how you guys got to know each other? Because you both have the same last name. So is this
coincidence?
Your wife, your daughter, your cousin, your aunt?
I'll give you a clue. She's the mother of my 4 grandchildren.
All right.
So she's my daughter-in-law.
Yes.
So, Angela, I have to ask, how do you co-write a book with your father-in-law?
Well, I think you said the word, actually. He's always been my mentor.
Yeah.
He's been my mentor throughout my whole career.
Nice.
So it was easy. And I think this was always a goal for Mike to put together.
For her.
For me.
Oh.
And it was just, we joined forces in December with AnnieMac Mortgage, and it was just the opportunity and the time. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do a timeline now.
Okay.
So December, we're talking about 11 months ago.
Yep.
And you started writing it then?
Probably
Early
we
May.
were onboarding, so a few months in. Yeah, so
Wow.
probably 6 months maybe all together to put it.
About 6 months in, but we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Because we say, we ought to write, and why would we write a book about mortgages? How exciting is that, really?
I know. I mean, it sounds like something that would keep me up all night in a page-turning book.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sorry,
Snuggle
you
by
don't know
the
what to do with your
fire,
life when you're done reading it.
Get
right?
a glass of wine by the fire and read about mortgages.
What are you reading? I'm reading about mortgages.
Yippee.
Okay.
However,
Obviously, you're an expert in mortgages,
Yeah.
and I can
Yeah.
see him saying, you should write a book because you know
He's
so much.
been saying
That's
it
gotta
for
be.
10 years.
well, yeah.
I mean, honestly. Maybe he doesn't remember, but I do.
But glad I had that impact. But the thing is, we talked about it because there's a reason we talked about it. It's not just for the sake of writing a book. There's a purpose to it, right?
Yeah.
There's always a purpose. Why am I writing this book? If you don't have a good reason, don't bother.
Right.
The educational aspect of this, and so many people, so many customers, so many clients often ask the same questions, often find themselves unprepared for the process.
Yeah.
They expect certain things and it doesn't go that way. How do we prepare them? How do we educate them? How do we get them ready to say, I'm confident now because I know more than I did before? That was the purpose of writing.
So, so this is book release week for you too.
Yes.
This is very exciting. I mean, we're announcing that, you guys co-write this book and you're releasing it today. So, it just came in and it's like hot off the press, which is exciting. Look at that. It's still steaming. It's still steaming.
Yeah.
And, and it's like putting this together, did you put out an outline? Like, did you outline what you wanted to include first? Are you sharing stories of other clients?
A little bit. But yeah, it's so funny because you talk about the outline. And this is different from the other books. Each of these books were very different from each other, and this one's even.
Well, Promise to Astrid is a story.
It's a story.
It's a standalone story of a woman in her and her life, and then Voice of the Fallen are short. I'm going to say an anthology.
It's a collection of stories.
And again, first-person stories. This is not a first-person story.
It's kind of, I call it a guide, but it's more than that because. If you think about the outline, if asked about the outline and the sequence of things, what's first? What topic do you cover first, and how do you move the sequence along and make it make sense? Right? And so we had all these topics, not just how do you apply? What's the qualifiers? How important is your credit score? All those obvious things.
The basic questions.
The basics about closing costs and should I pay points. We have to put that in, but in the right sequence where it makes sense. But also too, how to choose the right realtor. What's important to look at? By the way, what's involved in a home inspection? What does an appraiser actually do? And what do I expect from that appraisal? And in the end, for example, we have a reverse mortgage specialist. Another colleague, Millie Potter, who's great at reverse mortgage. She has we put a chapter in about that because that's important. And not enough known about that.
Yeah,
but one important chapter is too, that's probably not in a lot of mortgage books, is why it's important to use a financial advisor when considering mortgage choices. There's more to it than just
walking into
a low
bank
rate
and saying, I need
a low rate.
And giving all your mercy to this stranger.
Right? I mean, you give out so much information.
I mean, but it's a huge trust transfer, right? You have someone who doesn't even know what to Google, what to ask, anything. And they're putting their biggest transaction in their life in a stranger's hands. And hoping that and I describe it a lot like this, that mechanic isn't the same as this mechanic, right? They might find completely different things with your car wrong with the same, problem that you have.
Right.
So the book, it's almost envision yourself sitting in a mastermind with professionals in all of those categories, giving you a piece of their brain.
Yeah. That's
and
awesome.
At that point, now you can trust yourself to be able to navigate and build the right team around you when you're going to make this purchase, invest, so this is what we're looking to do.
You're the main mastermind behind the book, but how did you gather these other masterminds?
Well, I'll just interject, and you can, because I think it's a great point you're making, but we also solicited contributions from area professionals.
Yes.
We have 4 realtors. We have 2 attorneys. We have an inspector, an appraiser, a financial advisor, 2 financial advisors. All these people an underwriter, you're right, adding their advice, their experiences, a personal example to help emphasize the point of that particular chapter.
So they've written something.
We have
submitted
from
to you.
Professionals.
We have about 18 people who contributed.
So that's huge. Like, because doing an anthology of individual stories is one thing, but trying to bring it so it's all the same topic in the flow. And now you're managing, like, creating this whole world. Did you give them deadlines? Did you give them word counts that they had to do?
I let Mike lead this part a little bit more.
Like, if you're saying, hey, you know what, you're an underwriter, can you tell us a little bit about what an underwriter does in less than 1,000 words, and we want it by Friday?
Right.
Not like that.
But I think a lot of it happened differently. I started off that way, and everybody's, I got to write something.
Yeah. They freak out.
Yeah. So I said, let's do this easier. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
And then I'll write it down, give it to you. Did this capture what we talked about? Nice. And then we adjusted and inserted that. It was far easier for them.
Yeah.
But including them, honestly, it was invaluable because they thought of things and their perspectives. I wouldn't have thought of that, right?
Yeah.
It made it so much better to have these professionals, colleagues, friends be a part of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm going to point out to writers out there, like if you're looking to bring someone else into the story, not only does it allow you to have the professional voice from their profession, but it also, for a marketing standpoint, is a great thing because they're in the book, they're going to
well, we hope so.
Promote it as well, because it's going to help their career and, the book. And it's very interesting when people do write a book on, how you collaborate with other people and, the reasons why you collaborate with them, and getting them to share their expertise in your book is their own calling card.
It correlates so much to real life, though, because that's what I'm doing. We are creating a huge team of people around our client so they can do this successfully.
Yeah.
And so it's easy almost for us to have plucked out who and let them have the freedom and the spotlight, really, to give us, you have a spotlight right now. What's the one thing you tell somebody?
Yeah.
And we're able to give that to them, and it, for the consumer, I mean, that's gold you're never going to find.
I was just thinking that from the consumer's point of view, like, you could tell us all that information from you.
I can't, though. I can't tell you what an inspector's going to do. I can't tell you what the financial advisor's going to say, right? So we all have a lane, and this allows you to travel all of them, right, to the end zone of your new home in the right way, the best way.
And can I hold that for a second? Look at this. I mean, first of all, I like the size, because as you can tell, this is the size book. I like this.
Big enough. You don't need your glasses every time.
But, it's like, I see, so you've done a soft cover book, and then you did book jackets.
Well, yeah.
How did you create your cover, and how did you create the book jacket? Like, and just tell us a little bit about that process, because I see, it's like get moving, and I mean, you publish this through Amazon?
Yes.
Okay.
With a publisher, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
And Amazon, just one of the outlets. There's other outlets, Barnes and Noble, etc. But it's through a publisher.
Okay.
And it is obviously available through Amazon. Yeah.
What publisher did you use?
Burning Bulb.
Oh, Gary Lee Vincent.
Lee Vincent.
I wish I could remember right now what episode he was on.
Oh,
so, yes,
awesome.
he's been on the show.
Gary is a
That's
wonderful
great.
guy.
He is amazing.
Believe me, he's made
so
this.
Working with
He's
him
made
is
it really
great,
easy,
because
yeah.
he definitely helps with like the layouts and all of that stuff and doing these things.
The formatting, all that stuff that's really hard for me to do.
Working with him as a publisher, did he have a lot of deadlines that you had to work
Not at all.
and meet? So he's very flexible.
I put more deadlines on myself than he did.
Yeah.
He's so flexible. He's so good. And I put pressure on myself. And of course, I put pressure on other people, and then find it's all on me anyway.
Yeah.
And
like,
her.
hey, Angela.
Yeah. Angela, I want you to read this by
I'm
next
like,
week. Give us a.
Yeah.
It's on the board.
Well, and it's nice. I mean, because everything is got your bold print, and it's easy to read.
That's what we wanted, right? We know attention spans. This stuff's not fun.
And you don't have to read it from front to back. You can go
Correct.
into finding
PMI.
what you need to read.
Somebody said something about PMI. So, go into that chapter.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
now you're going to see all
Right.
the ways you can purchase PMI or not purchase it, right?
And it's easy on the eye, because I do think when you're thinking about reading mortgage contracts or any legal documents,
tap out for
done.
a sentence.
Yeah, it's like so it just doesn't look easy on the eye to
It's
even
not.
so
we wanted it to flow, and that's why the title, get moving. It's energy.
Yeah, so I gotta ask, there's this little space after get.
Yeah.
And I have this power, like covers say things to me.
Okay.
Like they speak to me. And I see get my ass moving. So,
we were going to write especially
I
for
feel like I see that there, like it's invisible ink, like, okay, I really need to get moving and figure out, because I mean, when you're looking to buy a home or, refinance your own home, it's a procrastination process.
The hardest call is to me.
Yeah.
Every single client, the hardest call is to me, because you can talk to a realtor pretty easy, right? Like it's light. I have to get deep with people.
Yeah.
So they do procrastinate because it's scary. And again, it goes back to trust.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a stranger,
we talk a lot about that, taking the fear out and procrastinating, and what opportunities you might lose by procrastinating.
Correct.
And by the way, the initial call isn't about getting the answer right away. It's how do I prepare and know that I'm better prepared in a month or 6 months? What do I have to do? And that's what Angela's wonderful at, talking through people, advising, right? And saying, okay, here's, in a friendly way, and this is written, like you said, it's easy to read, it's in language that everybody can understand. This is not hard stuff here. And it's easy to see the follow-up chapter from somebody that emphasizes the point. Oh yeah, this real life experience makes this point clear. I get it now, and that's what it's geared for, not just for first-time buyers.
No.
Because if you think about it, how often you go through the mortgage process? Every 3, 5, 10 years maybe?
Yeah.
Things change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted the energy in the book to be how I run my business. And it's, like he said, it's consulting. It's that initial call is always painting your dream. It's paint your dream. And then I do go to work and get you there and connect you to these people that you have in this book. I mean, these really are the stepping stones,
and
are in there.
These are like adult lessons that we aren't prepared for.
No.
Like,
we're not born that
when
way,
we're in school, we aren't taught, like, you're going to need to get a mortgage one day. I mean, some of the life skills that we really need, I almost feel like, can we break this down and start bringing it to a high school or college
Absolutely.
level?
I mean, that's the need in the country.
That is the need in the country.
I do it all day. I mean, it could be anybody from anywhere.
High school, they should be teaching them how to balance a checkbook, how to cook, how to, do a timeline of saving money for a house or things
how about waiting, right? A lot of everyone wants instant gratification.
I was going to say,
and they rush into
it depends
things.
what generation you're talking about with waiting,
but
because everyone wants to just push a button,
right?
So and with Carfax and like, we're gonna buy, I don't even know if that's it, but we're gonna buy a car online,
instant
we're gonna get a mortgage online, and people do that,
and it's scary.
It's
scary because they're afraid to talk to someone, they're afraid to say their real situation, and so they're gonna hide behind those online
and you're giving all your information out.
Because a real lender is not gonna just pre-approve you, they're gonna be involved in your shopping phase as well. They should be part of your strategies, right? But from fear and not knowing enough, people don't even get that benefit.
I mean, I feel like I would go and say to you, how much can I afford?
And I say, well, that's not a good question for me.
Okay.
What's your monthly housing budget?
Okay.
Do you have a budget?
That's something that gets everything started, because then someone's like, I got to figure out what my budget is.
Correct. Now we got the kickoff. Oh, you don't know how to do a budget? Easy. No problem. We weren't born knowing these things. I'm a first-time generational homeowner in my whole family.
Wow.
I mean, I have never had one spot I've grew up in for a long time. So I had to learn all this myself. And I've had some trials and tribulations with
housing.
housing.
Did you get involved in working with mortgages, things before or after you bought a house? Your first time?
Both.
Okay. What got you into this field?
Mike.
Really?
So I was always
blame me for that.
Well, in high school, I've known Mike since I've been 17.
Oh wow!
So he's got me from the beginning, anyways. But I've always.
And if I didn't know you had 4 children, I would think you're probably like 24 or 25. So I'm thinking you haven't known him that long.
Well, thank you.
But seeing I've said all this
numbers on
experience
that.
you have, when you're adding all the numbers up, you're like, all right,
I say this
16 years in this, 4 children,
I say this, once you hit 40, it goes backwards, right?
Oh,
so I'm
good.
about 38.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. I like
2
that.
of her kids are in college.
I might be 39 then.
2 daughters in college, 1 in high school, and 1 in first grade. So it's
that's a big
it's a
gap.
it is. But I'll tell you, my kids that are in college, just speaking of education, and they know so much more than most people, most of their peers.
Yeah.
Because they hear me.
Yeah.
They just overhear the credit profiles, the savings, the strategies behind that, how to pay off debt, like how to get yourself fit to get moving, right? And it's such a cool byproduct for me.
There should be financial education in schools earlier, let's say in high school. And I try to think about this with this. What would a course like this look like? What would the syllabus look like? And that's partly what guided the sequence of the book. But I think if you talk about managing your credit, what's it look like? What's a credit report score? And what do I have to do to maintain it?
Right.
In addition to budgeting and all those things, because a lot of people don't understand, in so many conversations we've had, and I was in the mortgage business for a long time.
I was just going to say, can we talk about you being in the mortgage business too? Because you're saying you're her mentor, and I'm thinking people may just think you're just writing books.
Well,
no, he actually has worked in this.
But I think there's a lot of people who say have no idea, have just no idea.
Yeah.
And what are you talking about, debt ratio? Oh, I'm here, I'm there. Well, let's show where you are in the grand scheme of things. And also, too, with the mortgage, it's not just what this will look like today, what's my payment, what's it going to look like in 5 years, in context of the appreciation of your house as well. So versus your renting, right? So what's this going to look like a year from now, 5, 10 years from now, and what opportunities will you lose by waiting, right? Your rent's going to go up. and so on. So you have to look at more than just what's my lowest rate.
What's the lowest rate and how much can I afford? Those are the two worst questions you can probably ask, right? And again, that's why it comes down to consulting, and that's the point of this book, is to give you a baseline as a consumer to be able to allow someone to connect with someone and know if they're got any fluff in there, right? Can you trust this person? Is their intention for me or for themselves? I mean, those are the things you have to be guarded with when you're going through this type of transaction. So this book here is supposed to, in an easy, visually easy way, help you bounce around if you want to, use this book while you're trying to get a mortgage, or if you want to read it ahead of time. But at least you'll be prepared in order to know you're giving that trust to someone that you can actually trust.
And it's so true how, we a lot of times in life don't prepare until we're in it.
Oh, yeah.
You know
and then we're like looking backwards going, oh, what do I do?
And, and I'm going to give the example of like pregnancy. You've had 4, but it's like you start when you're pregnant, you're reading the pregnancy manual, because you're in it. So now you want to know about it and it gives you the experience, and then, helps you with your parenting techniques in the long run. Right. And I mean, you're going to have a child for life and you're going to have a mortgage.
Pretty much for life,
The mortgage may live with you longer than your child lives in your house.
Possibly. Most of the time. Yeah, no, it's true. And when you're going through it, you can connect it. Yeah. Right? A lot of times, storytelling. I do a lot of storytelling around situations because it's the only way it actually resonates with the person, because a lot of times people will go to first-time home buyer courses. Yeah. And then they come to me, and they're more confused than they were when they walked in that door, because it was 6 hours of just information being shoved in their head. So now we bring it to a real life scenario story, and they go, oh, that makes sense. The stuff's not super complicated. Right. It just has to be delivered in the right way. Yeah. And that's really what we're hoping to get, people get out of this.
This is straight shot information. I'll give you a couple quick examples. Simple as saying, besides the main question we get every day, what's your interest rate? What's your interest rate? What's your interest rate? Can you beat the rate? Yeah, we could give you a rate, but before we have all the information, it's really irrelevant until we know your whole picture. But the second question is, okay, if your rate is, should I pay points or not points? I'm not paying points. Well, let's just look at this. Let's see where it makes sense to and where it doesn't make sense.
But what are points?
Yeah, what are
simply that?
That's it. What are points? Are they just a penalty I pay to get it? No. It's actually enables you to discount your rate. For example, if you're only going to be in the house for 3, maybe 5 years, because this is just a stepping stone. It probably doesn't make sense to pay points, because you won't reach the break-even point where it was worth it for that duration of time. It probably doesn't make sense. If you say, this is the home I'm going to be in for the next 30 years, I just know it, I'm going to raise my family, my kids is the perfect neighborhood. Let's think about that. Maybe paying points makes sense, because over the course of the next 4 years you break even, and over the longer term you're going to save an immense amount of money. So you look at those personal situations to see if it warrants paying points or not. Okay, so there's one example. Another is, I'm going to bid $400,000 for this house because the house is for sale for $400,000. I'm going to bid $390,000 and see if I can get 10%, $10,000 off. That might be okay, but let's look at an alternative. What if you offered the full $400,000 but asked for a $10,000 seller pay, towards closing costs?
And there are all these ways to word things.
That's one way that can reduce your payment by a far greater amount than the $10,000 sale reduction. There's things like that. They look at what makes more sense. Those are just 2 quick examples that people might not look at first until we say, here's something to consider. So we use a program called Mortgage Coach, which illustrates those choices in a clear way for even a first-timer to say, oh, I get it now. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That makes more sense. This is what the whole point of this is, to give some people something to think about more than just
rate and payment.
And
just to tap on that, there's strategies, of course. But the biggest dynamic in those strategies is the person. Yeah. What's the outcome they're looking for? Because maybe they are going to live in a house for 3 years, but they need to buy points to keep that payment where they need it to afford it. Right. So it is not a straight line. There's not one answer fits all. It's consultations. Yeah. And so this is, again, just to give that baseline for the consumer to feel confident with what they're asking and not get swindled.
Well, from what I'm hearing, like this
Seriously.
book is the book that I think every mortgage broker in the country wants their client to read.
I would say
before they meet with them, because it's not just like, oh, prepare to meet with Michael or Angela.
No, God, no.
I mean,
we have other loan officers in here from other companies.
Yeah, well,
and we
I mean,
have all our peers.
and someone in Washington State, may not be coming to Massachusetts
Correct.
to sit with you, but just to be able to get them prepared to sit down and say, hey, well, I read this book. It's called Get Moving, and it said, maybe I shouldn't get points, or maybe I should, tell you I only want to be in the house for this long, or, this is where my budget is. And now that mortgage person they're sitting with is like, oh, you're prepared.
I'll tell you, it's refreshing when I get to have a conversation like that with a client.
Yeah.
It's fine if they don't know, but it's refreshing. And I will say, if that loan officer doesn't want you to read this book, you might want to call another one.
Great point. And it's beyond moving. It's beyond purchasing. We're talking about refinancing and recasting. We talk about reverse mortgages. Talk about when does it make sense to refinance? Because that's always a big question.
So I can see your list of, I mean, I don't, like I said in the beginning, did you do an outline? Like, I can see your list of to-dos of what you want included in this book. Yeah. Like, we need to include this and this, all of these topics. So the fact that you made your checks on each one and said, oh, you know what, I can have so-and-so write something about, this part of the book and, to get all that in there. It sounded like a really fun project.
It was.
Was it fun for you?
It was connecting. It was fun for you. I know, Mike. No, it was awesome to see it come together, see everyone's
the fact that it took you less than a year to get this published from, I'm going to say, concept really to writing it, editing it, and getting it out into the world. Did the publisher do the cover for you? Like, how much input did you have on what you wanted to look like?
Well, we did that as a team, and we used some of our marketing people, and we knew we wanted the marketing behind it, the coloring, and the attention grabbing, and I don't know
the invisible writing in there.
Yeah, that insert what you want, and the picture was definitely not my idea, but someone thought it was a good idea to have my picture.
I thought it was a good idea. It was her or me. She won the coin flip.
I won, yeah.
It's much more aesthetically pleasing to see Angela on the cover. I'm all for having Angela's on the cover.
I am not arguing with that.
But the reason why I asked if the publisher did it, like, I didn't know if you went to Canva, and
nope.
I know some authors will go to Canva and kind of cut and paste and make theirs.
We didn't do Canva.
No, we didn't do that. We just kind of used our.
So
and it was a team.
basic.
We had somebody from our marketing team. My
input.
granddaughter, her daughter Lily, had some input as well, and we've got a couple more projects with her for the book because she's very artistic.
Well, and it's good when family can be part of the team, and be part of the project, and they bring in their own expertise.
Well, she's in college majoring in illustration, and she wants to be a book illustrator.
Oh, well.
So I said,
tell her to call me. I have people interested in
I will, because she's she'll
like, do you know an
next
illustrator?
Year.
And I'm like, yeah, I have some. And then, people
we'll
get
connect.
tapped out of stuff. So,
we'll connect.
All right, so where can people find this book? How can they get it besides walking in and seeing both of you? Are you doing book signings? Is it available online? How do they get it?
We'll have some future events, certainly. And we'll post them on social media and all of that stuff. But it's certainly available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, a few outlets. And Angela has her, want to say your website? At Home with Angela Tourville?
Yeah, .com.
At Home with Angela Tourville.
I thought you were going to say it, that I ended up saying it.
That works. We're a team.
At Home with AngelaTourville.com.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in. This is a very cool topic to talk about because, a lot of people are writing stories and memoirs, and to be able to write a book on what you're an expert in to help someone else is, something that a lot of people who need to write a book maybe need to do for what they're the expert in.
Absolutely. We're all an expert
and
in
with
something.
that kind of knowledge in advance, that kind of preparation, it can save you thousands and thousands of dollars. So the price of the book is pretty small compared to that savings, that potential savings, but that's not the point of what I was going to say. But the thing is, the more knowledge you have, the more prepared you are, you can really put yourself in a better position by far, because people do make mistakes. They make choices that later on they look back and go, gee, I regret being so hasty and doing that. And so it's a lot to think about. And I think it's worth the time to explore it, be prepared, consult with somebody like Angela, and really get the full scoop before making a decision. That's why I even suggest talk to a financial advisor. There's things about your mortgage decision. She said it earlier, biggest financial decision in your life, usually biggest transaction. Don't make a mistake. Be prepared.
And check out the 100-point checklist that you
do. Well,
one really quick thing. Also everyone that's in this book, we've provided you with a way to access them.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you want more elaboration on their insert
Drop them
in
an
here,
email. Hey, I read
their
this book
QR codes are all here. You can connect with every single person in this book by a click of a button. So
that's awesome.
We wanted to make sure you had that.
All right. Well, again, thank you for coming in.
Thank
I
you.
will put all the links in the podcast so people can click over and find everything. I wish you much success with the book, and congratulations on having this relationship still be really tight and intact after co-writing a book.
He's a nice guy.
And it's a great project. I mean, father-in-law, daughter-in-law. I mean, that's a really great relationship. I've had a really great relationship with my father-in-law too.
No, she's great. And honestly, she's great at her job. And that's what brought me back in from sort of my semi-retirement. I said, you know what? This looks like fun. And she's great to partner with. So.
Well, when you have that information, we can't keep it inside us. We have to share it.
That's right. Yes, true.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks.
And I want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning into yWrite every week and subscribing to the podcast on YouTube or Amazon or Apple or wherever you're watching this. And this is the part of the program where I'm giving you a writing prompt. And we're talking about today, like when you have that expertise inside you, you have to share it. I mean, you can't just do your job and then when you're done retire and walk away when you have all this expertise inside of you. So I want you to take your timer today, set it for 10 minutes and start writing about what you're an expert in. For me, I was a florist for 30 years. So to be able to tell someone how to make a flower arrangement, maybe I make a list of, 16 points and discuss each of those points. Maybe you're an expert on fixing cars. Maybe you're an expert on making quick breakfasts for your kids. I mean, whatever it is, write down what you're the expert in and start making at least that list of topics that you would be able to kind of dive in and write about. And that is your writing prompt for today. So I can't wait to find out what you're an expert on. I can't wait to have you as a guest here on yWrite. And until then, thank you so much for watching yWrite, and we'll see you next time. Bye.